Hey everyone, welcome back to OCD Recovery's YouTube channel. I want to talk about some of the common misconceptions I think that many people believe about Stoics and Stoicism. And I want to talk about how applying Stoicism was so important in my recovery journey. What principles I've taken from Stoicism, from educating myself, from reading, Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, which is the sixth book on the reading list, all the way down to, like I said, how people I think might, in my opinion, misconstrue what Stoicism truly might have meant. Because there's definitely a lot of misconceptions about how people believe the emotional, empathetic, no emotion perception of a Stoic is. So before we go any further, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, comment down below if you like Stoicism, comment down below if you like talking about Stoicism, comment down below if you like any of the other Greco-Roman philosophies. Just let me know what you think. So, on the reading list, there are 6 books. And the 6th book is Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. And what makes Marcus Aurelius' Meditations a unique piece of literature is because it dates all the way back, 2,000 years to, when was he? He was king from, or ruler from 161 AD to 180 AD, I believe, 19 years, and 16 of those 19 years he spent on the battlefield. So he really wasn't home a whole lot. He definitely had a unique perspective on life, which I thought was really cool. And, the whole entire book basically encompasses that we really don't have any control over the things that happen in our life. And that illusion of control that we think we have really sets us up for emotional turmoil. Now, it's actually interesting. If you look at the way how REBT, the principles, were formulated, it basically looks something like this. So we had Stoicism, and all the teachings from Stoicism, Seneca the Younger, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Zeno, whoever it was that actually started Stoicism. And then we got to REBT. So this is basically what it looked like. So you have Stoicism, and then down this line, you had the formulation of rational and motive behavioral therapy in the 1950s from Dr. Albert Ellis. Now, when Dr. Albert Ellis was formulating REBT, he was a psychoanalyst. He practiced psychoanalysis, where he spent a lot of time going into the Freudian theory, a lot of meaning potentially from dreams from Carl Jung, and because really at the time, the biggest psychoanalysis analytics were Carl Jung and then Freud, who they actually worked together, and then Jung went his own separate way, because I don't think he agreed with a lot of the stuff that Freud was doing. Freud, there's a lot of benefits about how Freud looked into the past, but I think that when it comes to OCD and anxiety recovery, it's really a dead end. It needs to be used very sparingly, if at all. All we really want to do is this may or may not have happened, and then work on the beliefs that you have about that situation. So if you have false memory and real event, Stoicism is actually extremely applicable into the unconditional self-life and other acceptance. Now, in Stoicism, there's a couple different tools that Marcus Aurelius used. So he had one I really actually enjoy called negative visualization. And what negative visualization is, in my interpretation, is waking up in the morning and realizing that you're going to deal with people who are being ungrateful in the moment, being rude in the moment, showing you crass, maybe making fun of you and being difficult and having frustrations. That's probably the most applicable thing that can be used today in the world that kind of what we're living in, where I see a lot of problems even outside OCD, where people believe they have direct control over their environment, where people believe they can directly control what other people say. And this is a slippery slope because we actually have no control over that whatsoever. All you have control over is your response, and not even directly your emotions, because at the time, so let's say you have a lot of anger creating beliefs. So that shouldn't happen to me. This isn't fair. I can't believe this is happening to me. And all those type of belief systems, well, in time, breaking those down with REBT, principles from REBT and Stoicism shows you that you really don't need life to go a certain way or to live your life. I'm not saying it wouldn't be more pleasurable if things went a certain way, but they don't. The other misconception about Stoicism is that Stoics don't have any emotions. I was at a business conference today where the person teaching it was talking about how Stoics don't show any emotion. The reason why this is perpetuated for such long periods of time is because it's been passed down as dogma for X amount of time frame. And really what's going on is that's not truly what Stoicism means. Stoicism is realizing that life has lots of suffering in it. Now, the Buddha believed that life is suffering. I don't believe that life is suffering, because that would mean every single second of the day is suffering. And people ask me, well, what's the difference? Well, if you look at pessimism, and Arthur Schopenhauer, who was really the most famous pessimist in the last 100 years, I can't remember when he was alive, whatever it was, he truly believed that life was suffering and that you should do everything you can to enjoy short-term pleasures, which is not what Epicureanism means. I think a lot of people believe that Epicurus, which was Epicureanism, is going out and indulging in all these different things to have short-term pleasure. But that's not actually what Epicureanism means. What Epicureanism is, as a philosophy, is enjoying very simple, minimalistic lifestyle. So enjoying maybe a piece of bread and wine and talking with your friends. The legends have it that Epicurus and his followers, his disciples, you could say, sat really in the garden, and a high luxury to them was a piece of cheese. So it's not actually when people think that they're going out and engaging in all these crazy sexual exploitations and different drugs. That's actually the opposite of what Epicureanism is. It's the true definition of minimalism. Epicureanism and minimalism are the same exact thing, where Stoicism is partly Buddha, but it's more along the lines of Stoicism is taking meaning from suffering when possible, where Buddha is life is suffering, which I don't agree with, because that would inherently mean, from semantics, that every single moment of your life is suffering, which is not true. So, in my opinion. So Stoicism has been a tremendous tool in my life, in business, in work, my relationships, my personal and friendships, realizing that, when people, I had a big problem. I still, nothing like it was, but being a human and fallible, I really didn't like it when people told me what to do. It's really hard for me to admit that, because I really didn't think it was that big of a problem, but it really was. This is when Rob would give me advice for things, or Moment would give me advice for things. I would take it the wrong way because I believed that no one could tell me what to do. But although even if they said something I didn't agree with, I didn't need to respond in the way I responded. And that's actually the definition of Stoicism, in my opinion. So kind of to wrap up this entire video so far, Stoicism doesn't mean a lack of emotions. I've heard stuff like, Stoicism is not badass. But Stoicism is the most pure definition of a badass, in my opinion, because Stoicism means you have a good regulation of your emotions. The problem with non-Stoic perspectives is people are highly addicted to high emotions. So they think that being angry and proving someone makes them a man and shows them. But revenge and satisfaction from putting people down is a prison. It's an actual prison that is not easy to escape from, since it's a mental prison. So Stoicism does not mean a lack of emotions. It means a regulation on your emotions. And Stoicism is not something you could snap into place. But Stoicism is also not Epicureanism, where it's more minimalistic. Stoicism is more in the lines of going out and doing things and facing hardships in life and taking meaning from them. That's why, like I talked about, the tool negative visualization can be really beneficial. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stoicism, again, remember we have Stoicism into the principles from REBT, practice in the 50, that used up for 70 years when he practiced psychotherapy in his own way through rational mode behavioral therapy and applying those principles to my life. So thank you so much for watching. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you are more of an Epicurean, if you practice Epicureanism, if you're more of a Stoic, and let me know what you think. Thank you so much, and as always, have a great day.